I guess since my picture has me sucking on this pen, I think I will do that then. Hello, I'll go do the show with this. Hi, my name is Dylan Lang, and welcome to Dylan Knows. And this is my pen. No, I'm not going to do that. All right, how you guys doing? It is now officially June 5th, 2022. It is 12:05 a.m., a little later than I'm usually want to do it, but there's been a busy day today. It is officially now my dad's 75th birthday. So I birthday dad. I also graduated from high school. Let's see, that would be back in June 5th, 1991. So 91, 2001, 2011, 31 years ago today. So yeah, I remember it distinctly because it was on my dad's birthday. So I always thought that was kind of fun. So yeah, hello. I am under the weather a little bit. I've had this sort of tickly throat, coughing, sort of snot thing, sinus issue for the last couple of days now. Plus, my back has been extraordinarily painful these last few days as well. I was hoping this god-awful tea that I was drinking would had extra one if it would help me cure myself, but it's just making me want to vomit even more. Oh, well. But we're not here to talk about vomit or anything like that. We're here to talk about all kinds of cool stuff. Today, this week, we're going to talk about Fortnite's new season and the live event. We're going to talk about Pokemon Go Fest. We're going to talk about Obi-Wan. We're going to talk about my dad's birthday. Well, maybe a little bit. Mars, Paramount Plus, trailers, grandparents, HBO Max, Doctor Strange 2, Pinocchio. What else we got here? Death, Pepsi infused pepperoni. Yes, it's a thing, and we'll talk about that a little bit. What the hell? DeLoreans. Yeah, we got DeLoreans in here too. Cedar DeLorean. So I can write that in. So we got that. Rescue Rangers movie review. Dinosaurs. Cats. Alex Proyas, Sabine, Christmas music, Johnny Depp, shoes, movie starts, production starts, stuff like that. So all kinds of interesting stuff to go here on this June 5th, 2022. It's Dilly time. It's Dylan Knows 448. It's Dilly time. Let's talk about that for the reason I'm doing this. So there's been a meme making its way around lately of Jared Leto's Morbius, which was a disaster in the box office. And the meme has him saying it's Morby time. And I'm not sure if that is something that really happens in the movie or it was made up for the meme or whatever. But regardless, it became much how a lot of these memes do become a viral sensation and became, something people were talking about on social media and they were posting it and saying all kinds of stuff. So Sony in their wisdom are like, so all these people are talking about Morbius and it's Morby time. You know what would be perfect we should do? We should re-release Morbius now into movie theaters and sort of ride the wave, all these people on social media, it's the number one trending thing, that sort of thing. They're going to want to come and see this movie, right? Yeah, that's exactly it. We're going to make a ton of money. We're going to make our budget back. Our budget's $75 million and we're stuck here at like $72 million. We're going to make our budget back. Absolutely. Yeah. So we're going to re-release it. So it was re-released this past Friday in 1,072 theaters, which is not little, but it's not a lot. So it's like sort of that sort of middle ground, back before all these movie theaters came around, this would be a wide release, 1,072. But they decided, now that we've got like close to 5,000 movie theaters and some smaller ones here and there, re-releasing it in only 1,072 is not a lot, but it's also at least a few in every state in the United States. So they re-released it. And they were anticipating it. Oh, yeah, social media is going crazy. It was number one trending thing. And then they got Friday's numbers. In 1,072 movie theaters. The movie made $85,000. That's not good. it's like if you let's see if I let me see if I can figure this out. If I can get this just right. Here we go. Where is there's utilities? 1072. Let's see if this is how it works. Divided by 85,000. No, that doesn't work. All right. So anyway, it said something along the lines of it made about $270 per theater, which is awful. It's really awful. It's not good. Not at all. And so, if they don't have the full numbers yet, but if Friday only has $85,000, you can bet might go up a little higher over the weekend. But I would say probably not. So they're projecting it only making $280,000 in their re-release, which does not even put it anywhere close to the number they need to recoup their money. And it was a bad decision all around. And that's why we can't have good things with the internet. A couple weeks ago, I talked about how the goddamn Snyderverse fans rigged the vote, as we expected, for that Oscars thing, so that the Snyder stuff would win the clips of the year and stuff like that. The greatest clip of all time is Barry entering the Speed Force over Avengers Assemble or Neo ducking the bullets in the Matrix or other things from that. I don't think so. The 3 Spider-Man coming back in No Way Home. I don't think so. And then a stupid ass zombie film that was ridiculously lame and idiotic gets it over other better movies as well. No. And we find out sooner, they illegally put bots on it to do it because there technically were no rules. I mean, I guess you could only vote once, but you get a bunch of bots to vote once, and there you go. You got your winner. So that's why you can't have people like that do things. Another good example along this lines is Snakes on a Train. The whole joke about get these motherfucking snakes off this motherfucking train sort of thing was just a joke phrase that somebody said, and then it started taking off like social media virally. So someone actually came up with a Snakes on a Train movie and cast Samuel L. Jackson and got him to say this line. And guess what? The movie tanked as well. So you can't trust social media. You just can't. You trust ratings, which is a good example of Obi-Wan. I was not expecting this either. Obi-Wan just had his 3rd episode. I'll give the review in about a second here, but I just want to cover this real quick. So I caught this. I think they announced it yesterday, actually, Friday. Actually, it's not yesterday. It's Sunday now, but on Friday, I think they announced it, that Disney is going to be putting into development Obi-Wan Season 2, which was a surprise because most everybody thought this was going to be a one-off limited series, one and done. But another story I'm going to talk about, since I'm just jumping all over the place, and I'll get to when I get to them, I'll mark them. But this past weekend, Memorial Day weekend that just happened, saw the release of both Stranger Things Season 4 Part 1 and Obi-Wan, the regular series. Now, I think I talked about the 2 episodes on my Memorial Day weekend show last week, the first 2 episodes about that. But both Stranger Things Part 4 Season 4 Part 1, Season 4 Part 1 and Obi-Wan Season, first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan, both broke streaming records for their respective streaming services. So Stranger Things Season 4 Part 1 was the most streamed and watched series in Netflix history. And Obi-Wan episodes 1 and 2 were the most watched and most streamed episodes of a show on their streaming service. So obviously they're going to, they saw the numbers and they saw, okay, we got something here, and they're greenlit a second season for that, and that made sense. But that surprised me because I guess Ewan McGregor has said that he loves playing the role, so I guess it was just a matter of getting the logistics out and come up with a story, because this story, where it seems to be heading, is really all we really need. I'm almost going to bet that it's going to end with Obi-Wan embracing the Force again, and then being able to commune with Qui-Gon. Now, I talked about this, I think, last week. I read a book about Star Wars history, and in it they said that it took 10 years for Obi-Wan to connect with Qui-Gon. Obi-Wan, the show, takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. So the timing is lining up perfectly for that. The final scene in this episode, in this series, this season or series, whatever, is going to have Obi-Wan communing with Qui-Gon. So you got to look at that and you figure, okay, that's where we need to get with Obi-Wan. And then he'll just sit back and, we don't know much else about what happens, and wait for Luke to grow up and then do the whole thing with Star Wars. Now, they have another 10 years they can look at, because it takes maybe more like 8 to 10 years, I guess, after the events of this one. So you have time to come up with a different story, but you got to come up with something unique. And the other problem is, that Obi-Wan is not going to die because he is in the Star Wars movies. So there's really no fear. But if you do it well enough, it's really interesting. Case in point, Obi-Wan episode 3 has Obi-Wan and Leia taking the transport ship on back to Alderaan. They're going to have to land at another place, and they're going to get off of that transport ship, go to another airstrip, and fly to Alderaan. And they get there, and they their contact doesn't appear right away. So Obi-Wan starts freaking out, thinking that it was a setup, because he still doesn't trust the guy that set this all up for them. So they take off on their own. They flag down an alien called Wreck, something like that. Freck, something. I think it was Freck, actually, who picks them up and drives them through a couple of Imperial Stormtrooper stop things. But then Obi-Wan is revealed and has to kill a few of them, and then his contact was actually there and had to catch up with them and gets them to where they need to go. And they go into this town, where they go into a secret passage, which take them to the airfield, where a pilot will be waiting to take them to Alderaan, where they need to go. So while they're waiting, Darth Vader himself appears. Obi-Wan has not done a really good job of covering his tracks. There's Imperial droids, probe droids, that find his location, and they all descend on it, including Darth Vader. So we get James Earl Jones voicing Darth Vader here again, and I'm assuming because Hayden Christensen is in the credits that he's in the suit of armor instead of David Prowse is. So I think David Prowse died anyway. So in a horrible scene, as they have to wait, the pilot's not ready yet, it's too hot for them to take off him. Darth Vader lands in a small town and just starts killing people. I mean, left and right, just breaking necks and throwing them against walls with the Force and stuff like that, trying to draw out Obi-Wan, because the whole thing is he knows that the Jedi Creed is, if people are in pain, they will announce themselves, and that's their weakness. So he does what he's supposed to and is able to. He tells Leia to go with the contact, to go to the pilot, and he'll catch up with them, and he's going to lead Darth Vader and everybody out of the town so they can get away safely. So Darth Vader senses him and follow him, and there's just a kind of horrific scene where Darth Vader is, sneaking up on him like in a horror film, stuff like that. And then they meet for the first time, and they have a lightsaber duel, but Obi-Wan is not Obi-Wan, so he gets his ass kicked because Darth Vader is at the top of his power. And it gets to the point where he's just so weakened, and then Darth Vader has plans for him. So he takes him out to this desert area, and there's fuel on the ground. He lights the fuel, and he throws Obi-Wan into the fire so that he burns just like Anakin did and feels the pain. But Obi-Wan gets saved, and They escape. Meanwhile, Reva kills the pilot who's supposed to take them to Alderaan and is about to square off with Leia. So again, we know nothing's going to happen to Leia, but we got to figure out how this is all going to happen and escape and stuff like that. So kind of interesting aspect there. And then everyone's screaming about why did Darth Vader let him go? And it seemed pretty, and it's like, it's a plot hole. It's like, no, it really isn't. It's pretty obvious is that if you knew the original trilogy, you knew Anakin believes he is the most powerful Jedi in the world, or Sith, whatever you want to call him. And he believes that he could always have beaten Obi-Wan because he is the more powerful Force user. Let's just say that. So when he's been waiting on this rematch for 10 years, you know, all the pain and all the suffering that he suffered at Obi-Wan's hands. And now he wants to return that twofold, and he wants to prove that now that he's Sith, he's more powerful than Obi-Wan ever was, and he wants to totally annihilate him. And then he meets this Obi-Wan, who is an absolute wreck of a person, does not put up a fight and whatever. And Anakin's like, what the fuck? This is not Obi-Wan. If I kill him, it's not going to be hard. I can kill him right now. He is weak, and that won't prove anything. That'll still prove that Obi-Wan in his prime was better than I was, and I'm not going to stand for that. So he lets him get away so that Obi-Wan can lick his wounds, and eventually he's hoping that it will draw him back, because I think it will, because now they got this connection again. He knows Obi-Wan really well, and he has a feeling that Obi-Wan's going to try to come back and get Darth back to the good side, Anakin to the good side. And Anakin knows this, so that's why he lets him go, and that's it. It makes perfect sense to me. He's going to wait for Obi-Wan to get his mojo back and become the Obi-Wan that he knows, and then when the time comes, they will square off again, and Anakin is so sure, then I will kick his ass for real, and everybody know what a badass I am, and I will have, took that monkey off my back, and everything's going to be good. Obviously, we know that that's not the case because of what happens, but it's still going to be fun to see where the story leads. So we're at the halfway point now. Should be kind of interesting. They name drop Quinlan Voss, who is one of my favorite Jedi from the comics. So Quinlan Voss is, he has appeared in the background in some of the prequels, but now that we know that he is out and about, because he did survive the Jedi Massacre as well, maybe there'll be signs that he might be able to make his way to a show or whatever, so that'd be kind of good. So all in all, I enjoyed it, and all these people screaming about, oh, it's a plot hole, and why did Darth Vader let him go? This show is stupid. No, if you know the series, this absolutely makes perfect sense. The reason why I was beating up on him and wanted to burn him and stuff like that is because, he was angry at the time. But then when he saw what a wreck that Obi-Wan was, and that he wasn't, the Obi-Wan that he knows, he wants to take him out when he's at his top of his game, because he wants to prove to everybody and himself that he is better than Obi-Wan. So we'll see where that goes. So I'm excited for that. I think I like that. So we'll see. I still like the show. So we'll see where that heads out. It's my dad's 75th birthday today, actually literally right now, since it is after midnight. And we're going to go to a special luncheon for him in about 12 hours. Let's see, is Shocker in? No, Shocker is not in. No, he's not in. Oh, well. Anyway, so we're going to see my dad for lunch in about 12 hours at a place called Bluestone Timonium. It was supposed to be up here at Harriman House, but they do a Sunday brunch through like 2 a.m. to 2 p.m. to like 3 p.m. And my stepmother didn't want to have a brunch. He wanted to have a nice lunch for him. So we're going to go to this Bluestone, which I've been to before. It's okay. So we'll see. So that'd be nice. So, yep, 75 years. My dad, 75 years old this today, actually. And as I said, also 31 years ago today, graduated high school also. So, yeah, it's old. I'm old. Now, this weekend's been busy in and of itself. This weekend was Pokemon Go Fest, or still is. There's still one more day with it today. Starting at 10 a.m., there's going to be more Pokemon Go stuff, which includes the introduction of the Ultra Beasts. So they're coming through on Pokemon Go now. Today's Pokemon Go Fest was the typical one we've had over the last few years, which is the roving habitats and shiny rates up high. I got 7 shinies, different ones that I don't have. And I got some of the regionals that are unlocked in this one, Tropius and Torkoal. So I got a bunch of those and finished some stuff that we needed to do. So that was a pretty good. My wife and I went out and walked for about 2 hours. Yeah, it was 2 hours. So that was kind of nice and got everything done that we needed to. So that was good. And I made it back in time because today was also, or Saturday was also the live event that's going to end Fortnite's Chapter 3, Season 2. And it was an extraordinary live event. Me and my son, my son's friend Hunter, who we game together usually. We got into the same server and, we got on board the mech. It was just the 3 of us, and we were shooting asteroids for about 40 minutes before the event started. And then the event started, and we were shooting tanks and getting hit with lasers and stuff like that. And then we got down to the ground and did some ground shooting, and then we were able to defeat the bad guys. And then it faded out to this sort of glowy, sort of rivery, mushroomy sort of thing. It says to be continued, and played this really awesome new age sort of Avatar type music to pretty much like introduce a new season, which is, if this is what I think it is going to make it extraordinarily exciting, because supposedly the rumors are going that it was going to be a desert season, which I would have absolutely hated because desert seasons are boring. And that the storm was going to be a firestorm and not a regular storm. There's going to be water instead of the usual slurp stuff, but that appears to not be the case. What it appears that it could be some sort of multiversal sort of event where different POIs are going to be coming from different dimensions. We know Darth Vader, speaking of Darth Vader, since we just talked about him, will be coming to Fortnite. Obi-Wan is already in Fortnite, and we know Darth Vader will be part of this battle pass. He'll probably be the tier 100 skin that we get for the battle pass. We're going to be able to get in about 5 hours, so that'll be good. So it'll be fun to get a new season, and it looks like, more and more that it is going to be more like a vibrant sort of quiet sort of season, which is going to be really cool. So we'll see how this all rolls out here. So that was a lot of fun. So we have a new season starting here in about 5 hours. That's what I'm actually genuinely excited for. These first 2 seasons of Chapter 3 have been lackluster, to be honest, for me. The Battle Pass skins, stuff like that, have just been sort of meh. We got Spider-Man and we got Doctor Strange and all that stuff, but just kind of been sort of nothing too exciting. But I'm going to keep playing because I like playing it. So that's kind of fun. So we got all that going on. So that's pretty cool too. This weekend is also the Platinum Jubilee. Queen Elizabeth took over, I think, no, it's more than that, 52, 62, 72, 82, 92, 2000, 70 years ago. So I think 1952 this weekend is when Queen Elizabeth became the Queen of England. And that was like 1952 is when she became Queen of England, and she's still Queen of England here 70 years later. So it's the Platinum Jubilee, which is usually a big celebration over in England, and I think they are celebrating it, but the Queen really isn't doing much. But she did do a little mini movie with Paddington, having tea and crumpets for her Platinum Jubilee. So that's kind of neat. So don't have a queen, so couldn't tell you. But the Jubilee always seems to be an exciting time for people over in London. So now it being particularly a 70-year anniversary sort of thing is kind of cool for them. So congratulations on your Platinum Jubilee, Queen Elizabeth there. Speaking of anniversaries, Poltergeist, the movie that still has one of the most bizarre urban legends, maybe not urban legend, but maybe a conspiracy, coincidence, whatever, in the movie world. For those who don't know, Poltergeist was directed by Tobe Hooper, who did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. and stars Craig Russell, the guy who played Coach on Coach and is also the voice of Mr. Invincible and the Incredible and the Incredibles, and his family, as they move into a haunted house. They move to a house that they discover soon afterwards was built on a Indian burial mound, and the Indian spirits are not happy with a house being built on their sacred cemetery, so they start haunting the house, trying to get the people out of there. It's the classic word, they're here, and the tearing off of the face, and the giant clown in the room, and the tree branches, and the actual real skeletons in the water. Craig T. Nelson, that's who it is. And in the water and the finale and stuff like that. There have been tons of parodies of this. They've had three movies based on this alone. They've done remakes. They've done TV shows. So like that. It's been a cursed sort of movie. Heather Rourke, who played the young actress, a blonde actress who said, no, they're here, like the 8-9-year-old, she died very, very young of a bizarre disease. And Dominic Dunn, I believe, who played the middle daughter or the oldest daughter or whatever, she was shot and killed by her jealous boyfriend a little bit after this movie was made. So she was never able to have a career or whatever. So it's had its share of stuff, but that's not the conspiracy / urban legend, whatever. The urban legend is it was produced by Steven Spielberg. And the rumor has been going around forever that Steven Spielberg actually directed Poltergeist. Now, E.T. came out the same year as Poltergeist. E.T. came out in 1982, as did Poltergeist. And so they're being made simultaneously. And the rumor has it because the way the movie is shot and filmed, it looks like a Spielberg film, because Spielberg, if you remember in his early films, he has specific, I guess in his later films as well, he still does it as well, but he has specific things he does with his shots. He does specific shots that he always puts into his movies in some form or another. Excuse me. And there's all kinds of rumors that go with it. One is that Tobe Hooper was directing it, and the film company was not happy with the way he was directing it with the dailies, so they called in Spielberg, and he decided that he was just going to take over it and give Tobe the credit, stuff like that. There's rumors that Tobe Hooper and Spielberg directed it together. Tobe Hooper is a sort of laid-back sort of guy that doesn't really have much to say about anything. And so Spielberg said, why don't you do a 2-shot here, or why don't you do something like here? So Toby said, okay, we're going to do a 2-shot. And he was the one that was actually directing the people what to do. But Spielberg was in his ear saying, do this, do this, do this. And then there's some that say that Toby did direct it, straight up. No one knows for sure. And no one knows the exact extent of stuff. So it's kind of an interesting thing. But it's a 40th anniversary this year. 82 was an outstanding film year. And this adds to it. Now, speaking of the supernatural, Kesha, who I absolutely hate, that's just my own personal opinion, but my wife and daughter seem to like her music. The singer is actually going to be doing a paranormal and supernatural show for Discovery Plus network. So she's going to be like the next Zach Bagans for the most part, and that's kind of odd. What are we going to do? If Ozzy Osbourne's son, Jack, can do supernatural stuff, Jack's not a musician really too much. So why not have a musician do it? I think Meatloaf was a supernatural guy also that went on to like a Ghost Hunters event or whatever. Let me mark that off because I didn't. Taco Bell has opened a restaurant with a backyard fire pit and cornhole. I did not know that. I have not seen it. And I don't know if it's like in somebody's neighborhood or whatever, but there's a Taco Bell that has a backyard fire pit and cornhole. So that's kind of interesting. Every week, it seems like something like this pops up. So I don't know if there's just something going on in the world, or we just have a better take on things now than we did 30 plus years ago. But an extinct Cloud leopard, who was considered extinct, has been spotted in Taiwan for the first time in 30 years. Now, I cannot. Now, people have been watching this show over the last couple months know that at least once a week, I do a story about the supposed extinct animals that made their way back onto the world, which is fine. It is absolutely wonderful that that's actually happening. It means that, whatever is working, and we're able to get stuff, these extinct animals. I'm sorry, I just hear. I guess my wife's doing something. It sounds like the dryer's on, but I know it isn't. Oh, doesn't matter. So that's kind of neat that extinct cloud leopard has reappeared into the wild, and so hopefully they won't be extinct for much longer, much like all these other animals that are extinct and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. Michael Keaton's Batman is officially in the new Batgirl movie that's going to be coming out here soon. He's supposed to make his reappearance in the movie world in the Flash movie that unfortunately is still in business despite Ezra Miller's absolutely insanity that's going on, and he should not be. They should not be making films anymore because they are quite insane. What I expect from a Snyderverse person, but that's besides the point. So yeah, but he is officially going to be in the Batgirl movie, so I guess it's going to take place in the same world or whatever. But that's kind of cool, I guess. Here's a name I hadn't heard for a while: Dermot Moroney, which is a really cool name, though. By the way, Dermot Moroney has been cast in Scream 6, which is coming out next March. So obviously they're going to start filming that here soon. So he's been cast in an unknown role right now, but Dermot hasn't been in really anything that I know of for a while. It might be stuff. He might be continuously working, but I haven't seen him in stuff for a really long time. But he was a big actor in the 90s. And I think he's been consistently working. It's just been like in TV shows and stuff like that I don't watch. So good for him. Sarah Silverman is joining Bradley Cooper in Netflix's film about film Maestro, which is about the legendary Leonard Bernstein, the classical music composer. That actually got me intrigued. It's probably going to be set up for Oscars stuff and probably going to be coming out in time for Oscar season. So if it's going to be through Netflix, I might check this out because it looks good. They showed pictures of Bradley Cooper as Leonard Bernstein, and he looks unrecognizable. You can't tell that is Bradley Cooper. So, and then Sarah Silverman is always one of these actresses who's sort of kind of been underrated for the most part. But it'll be good to see what they can do together. So that'll be nice. Speaking of keeping on with the movie aspect, excuse me, I'm going to fart here in a second. Oh, excuse me. Arachnophobia, which is actually one of my favorite movies from the early 90s. Excuse me again. It's like 93, I think. It was around there same time as Dave, because Dave and Arachnophobia were two of my favorite movies during that summer, and I saw them multiple times in the movie theater. But Arachnophobia is such a great movie, and I love it, and I cannot show it to my family because my entire family hates spiders, and so this movie would absolutely give them nightmares, freak them out, and they have no desire to see it. I think when they're away at camp, I think I need to pull this sucker out and rewatch it again because I loved Arachnophobia. Jeff Daniels is outstanding as the arachnophobic guy here, who is a big city doctor who moves to a small town, expecting to take over the role of the town doctor. And then when the town doctor says he's not going to retire, leaves him hanging high and dry because everybody is going to stay with him and not go to the new doctor in town. But there are a few people who are not happy with this old doctor and want the new doctor to be their official doctor, and he's doing wonders for them. The first woman who comes in is like the mayor of the town or something like that, who's an older lady, and the old doctor kept prescribing her these pills for her heartburn or whatever, and Jeff Daniels checked her out and said, "You don't have any issue. You don't need to take these pills." And he takes him away from her, and she comes back like a few days later and says, I feel absolutely fantastic. You were absolutely right. I was feeling crappy, and then you told me. And so, it looks like he's going to be worried. It's like, I'm going to tell everybody what's been going on. But unfortunately, then she dies from a spider bite. And so the doctor is going to be like, they don't blame the spider first. They blame her being off her meds that he prescribed that the other doctor took off. So it makes him look even worse. And then another person who gets checked out by a doctor also ends up getting killed. So it makes it look like they call him Dr. Death and stuff like that. But this spider is from the Amazon, jumped on board of a coffin of a person who, as a photographer who was from that town, died in the Amazon, and the spider got into his coffin and stayed and was able to survive the flight from the Amazon to this California town by sucking the blood out of this guy. And then the spider, who doesn't have any natural enemies and is very poisonous, makes his way and mates with the spider here. And they have little baby spiders, which are poisonous. And that's the whole premise of Arachnophobia, where this town gets engulfed by spiders. And it has one of the greatest, absolute greatest final battle scenes ever between Jeff Daniels, who is the arachnophobe, having to go into his wine cellar and take on the giant. It's not like giant, like sci-fi giant. It's about the size of a tarantula. It's about this big spider that's poisonous, and it is just some absolutely awesome filmmaking. John Goodman's in it. Stuart Pankin, who my aunt went to school with. It's a great film, and so they're doing a remake from Freaky director Christopher Landon. Now, Freaky is a movie that I'm intrigued about, but I'm not going to go see it. It's one of these Blumhouse films, which is I love Blumhouse. I think it's a great production company because they know how to make money. They make these horror films for very minimal amounts of money, $2-3 million. They hire these young actors who nobody's ever heard of before, and they do horrible things to them, and the stories are fairly interesting. There's some interesting things about it. Happy Death Day, which is Groundhog Day, but a woman is getting killed by a serial killer, and then every time she gets killed, the day restarts till she solves the case of how to beat the serial killer. And that's an interesting premise in and of itself. So much so it was so popular it spun off a sequel, which did just as well also, because again, small amount of money for budget, and it doesn't have to make a ton. So if it was made for $5 million, if it only makes $10-15 million, guess what? You have a profit of $5 to $10 million. That's nothing to sneeze at. A profit of $5 to $10 million. Morbius would kill for that. I tell you that right now. So Freaky was one of those that takes the idea of the Freaky Friday sort of movie genre that came out in the late 80s, where kids traded places with their parent. And so the kid is in the body of the parent, and the parent's in the body of the kid. And the kid believes, I'm an adult now, I can do whatever the hell I want. I'm going to drink, I'm going to have sex, I'm going to stay up late, I'm going to drive, I'm going to spend money and do all this stuff. And then discovers that it's not so great being an adult. And then the adult who's trapped in the kid's body is now like, okay, I'm free, I'm young, I can do whatever the hell I want, I don't have any responsibilities, and discover that it's a lot harder being a kid again, so they got to try to figure out a way to get it back and forth. Freaky was the movie where a perky female who is attacked by a serial killer who's been killing people, played by Vince Vaughn. No, it's a serial killer. She's been killing multiple people, and she's supposed to be the next victim. But before he does the killing blow, they switch bodies. So that's an even better idea. Instead of it being a parent, it's a woman, a girl, a teenager in the body of a serial killer who's wanted for murders. They know who he is. And then the serial killer is in the body of the girl. He's like, nobody knows who I am. I can continue my killing spree and nobody will know difference. And then somehow we'll figure out a way to switch our bodies. And then she'll be the one to be blamed for all the serial killings. Oh, walk scot-free. It's a great premise. And we'll see if this director can do a good job. Again, I'm not a biggest fan of remakes and stuff like that, but this could be a fun remake. And again, it seems like an easy, I don't know if it's Blumhouse, but it seems like an easy thing. You don't need a lot of stuff. You can do CGI spiders. You can do old school spider effects, whatever you want to do. They shouldn't cost all that much. So you do a $5 to $10 million budget. It should make that back and then some. I have no doubt about that. So we'll see what happens about that. I don't really know the situation with Louis C.K., but he has a secret movie coming out called 4th of July this year. I like movies that have connections to holidays. Don't know what it's about, whatever. And I'm not the biggest Louis C.K. fan and his situation, but I just want to put it out there, and maybe we'll find out more about what it is and if it is connected to the 4th of July in some way or another. I don't know. Skittles Gelatin is a thing now. Instead of Jello Gelatin, you have Skittles Gelatin now. So I guess I don't get it because I doubt it's going to not taste like Skittles. It's going to just taste like gelatin because gelatin really doesn't have a taste. So we'll see. Bizarre spiky rock formations have been discovered on Mars. Weird crooked angles and all kinds of wild stuff. So they believe it was done by erosion and stuff like that. And they think that's kind of neat. So they're kind of creepy looking though. So it just adds to the luster that is Mars. Glad that's done. I'm never going to get that again. A grandfather builds a 90-foot by 70-foot swimming pool in his backyard. 90 feet. I mean, from here to there is not 90 feet. 90 feet is like out to where 795 is. It's across, it's out my back door, across the fields that are there, and on to 795. It might even be past 795 over to the golf course over there. 90 feet by 70 feet that way would be through like 4 houses that way. So it's a massive swimming pool, and this grandfather built it for his family, and it looks like a beach or a lake. It is outstanding. It's kind of neat to see that. So I just want to put that in. I thought that was kind of a neat little thing about that. A janitor has corralled a curious cougar that entered a empty school during the weekend. And the janitor who was working, because janitors work on the weekends to clean the school when the kids aren't there, and saw the cougar and was able to corral it into an empty classroom before he could call rangers or whoever to get the animal out of there. But he was able to get a cougar into a classroom, and cougar's fine. Everyone's fine. Nobody got hurt. No animals, no people got hurt. 2,700-year-old ancient pirate. Oh, no, not pirate. Ancient private toilet from the first temple era was discovered in Jerusalem. So someone discovered a toilet that's 2,700 years old in Jerusalem. So, yeah, okay. Maybe Jesus Christ used it. Who knows? University of Michigan's baseball team is selling a buffalo wing, carrots, celery, and ranch milkshake. No. I like those things, but not as a milkshake. It doesn't work for me, man. Speaking of baseball, college baseball, the University of Maryland, their baseball team is in the NCAA tournament for the first time in a long time, and they utterly destroyed their first opponent 23-2 in a baseball game. So cheers to them. HBO Max has canceled the show Raised by Wolves after 2 seasons. Raised by Wolves was critically acclaimed. I think it has to do with, I guess there's some new owners or whatever. They decided that they didn't want to pay more money for it, despite the fact that it is a critically acclaimed show and everybody kind of likes it, but I guess it wasn't doing enough for them, so they just said, you're done. A state, the New Jersey has closed down Menatico Pond in Millville for Bigfoot. There have been Bigfoot sightings in that area, so they decided to shut down the pond to human encroachment, not encroachment, I should say, but people going to the pond for swimming or sunbathing or boating or whatever, so that Bigfoot can handle it peacefully. So it's kind of cool. Some deaths this week. Ken Kelly is a cover artist for lots of pulp magazines and comic books and stuff like that. He passed away this week. Oh yeah, Marion Barber III, who was a 7-season NFL running back, played for the Dallas Cowboys, and for the teams, died at the age of 38 mysteriously in his sleep. They don't know how he died. It's kind of scary. Another NFL player, Jeff Gladney, he was a former NFL first-round draft pick, died in a car accident at the age of 25. So he was still playing. Marion Barber had retired at the time, but Jeff Gladney has passed away at the age of 25. So some sad deaths this week here. All deaths are sad, but particularly young people, it's upset. Now, talk about football. This is the year of the retirement, it seems, despite the fact that the goddamn Tom Brady, he retired and then unretired. Ben Roethlisberger retired this year, and a bunch of other people as well. But this week alone, we had 4 NFL players announce their retirement this week. Some you might know. Alex Mack, I didn't know him. He was a center. Frank Gore, who is considered to be one of the greatest running backs of all time. I think he's third in running back yards, rushing yards. He's retiring. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was quarterback for 9 football teams. He decided to retire finally. He had just signed a deal with the Washington Commanders, and I think he got hurt. And Heineke came in and did pretty good for them last year. So he didn't really get a chance to play. So I think he saw the writing on the wall. It would have been neat if he was able to play for every team, but 9 is still impressive. I don't think anybody has played for that many teams. And a quarterback in that case. The one game that everybody remembers him for most of all is an opening season game where he was with Tampa Bay, where he scored 8 touchdowns, threw for 8 touchdowns. So, in a drubbing, I think, of the New Orleans Saints. And Stefan Tuitt, which is good news for Ravens fans. He was one of the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of their best linemen. He has retired. I think he had been suffering from a lot of injuries lately. He's still young enough. He probably still could play if he wanted to, but I think he's been suffering from a lot of injuries, and he just said it's not worth it to do this anymore. So he has decided that he is done, and we're moving on. And this is so weird. I just noticed this. The shirt I'm wearing now is the 8th of 9 of the Green Lantern Corps that I have. I still have one more to wear, and I've worn a different one for every show over the last 8 weeks. Next week's, hopefully, I'll have my white Lantern one. I would have worn one for every conceivable Corps that's out there. But the weird thing is, this is the violet shirt, which is the Love Corps, and it's mostly females. But in reality, on my computer screen, it might look different to you guys when you're playing this back, but on my computer screen, it looks blue. And it's actually purple. I'm looking at it right now. It's purple and it's blue. So it's weird. I guess, as close up, it still looks blue. So maybe it's just the lighting. And let's see if I put some more light on it. Nope, still looks blue. So, oh well. So moving on from that. There we go. Everyone getting second season. Talk about The Bad Batch, that animated series based on the Clone Wars animation and continuing the Clone Wars story, is getting a second season. It's coming September 28th. There was another Star Wars thing announced this week. What was it? Oh yeah, Star Wars Visions, which is the Japanese anime directors are given a chance to do a short 30-minute or so their vision of Star Wars is getting a second season coming in 2023. So we got that coming up. So good on that. And Andor, this is all part of that Star Wars experience that we talked about last week. Andor season 1 and 2 will have 12 episodes each, take place 5 years before Rogue One, and it premieres August 31st. 2022. So it's already been renewed for a second season, and Tony Gilroy, who is the writer director of it, I guess, also because he's written directed a bunch of regular films, says it is a 2-season novel, and the 2 seasons are connected, so 24 episodes. This is going to be the longest of any of Disney's series yet to come out, so we'll see how that goes. Furiosa, the Fury Road prequel, which is not going to star Charlize Theron because her and the director George Miller got into a little bit of a head-to-head head-butting sort of thing. Didn't quite work out. She didn't want to come back and do the prequel, so they cast somebody else as the character for Furiosa. Has started production. Chris Hemsworth has joined the cast of it, and he's been a part of the cast for a while. He's playing the bad guy in it, so that'll be fun to see him. But they have started filming this week, so we'll be seeing that probably sometime next year. Rachel Zegler has been cast as the lead in the Hunger Games prequel coming out probably next year also. I think last week or a couple weeks ago, we talked about the male lead. He was cast as well, so they're moving right along there. There we go. I've done that one already. Could we see a Hawkeye season 2? Let's go through this. So Hawkeye was great. I loved it. It was last December. It ended 2 days before Christmas. And it was an outstanding series. Introduced Kate Bishop to the world, gave Jeremy Renner his time to shine in the Marvel MCU because he never got a solo movie. So it was him to do. So instead he got his own TV show, which is great. And he shared it with Kate Bishop, who is great. And the highlights was introduced Echo, who's going to be getting her own series next year. The Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio, who played it in the Daredevil series, made his appearance in this as well, which means that the Daredevil stuff has become canon somewhat in the MCU. So he was in that as well. And we brought back Florence Pugh's Yelena as well, which was outstanding to her and Kate Bishop's interactions in the final episode and the two final episodes, the 5th and 6th episode, were just outstanding. And just goes to show that both of them are perfect for introduction to this to the MCU. But it was always told to us that this is just going to be a one-time, one-off series to introduce Kate Bishop, and then eventually they would, put Kate Bishop in Young Avengers or whatever she was going to be coming up next, and Hawkeye was going to retire, much as all the other original MCUs have. Black Widow's dead, Captain America is living his best life in the past, Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark is dead, so that just leaves the Hulk, who is going to get his own bit in She-Hulk, and Hawkeye. So that's it. So it was always thought to be just a limited series, and when Marvel put in for consideration for Emmys, they had Hawkeye as a limited series, so it would be considered for that because the Emmys do limited series and regular series as well. And then this week alone, something changed. Hawkeye was no longer listed as a limited series in the Emmy consideration form or whatever they had to do. It was now considered as part of the TV series, which is leading people to believe that, maybe the creators started talking to Jeremy Renner and they actually like Kate Bishop, whose name is escaping me right now. And they're like, maybe we can do another series to maybe officially or have her do it entirely and Jeremy Renner just be in the background or whatever. But maybe we should do a second series of Hawkeye. So that's to be continued. We're not sure. Nothing has been fully announced yet. But the fact that they did change that around from limited series to regular series is a good sign that something's going to be happening in that aspect as well. Amanda Peet is going to be playing the betrayed wife in Paramount Plus's TV series Fatal Attraction, based on the Glenn Close, Michael Douglas film. Again, I didn't really like Fatal Attraction, to be honest, but, Amanda Peet's okay, and it'd be good to see her, I guess, be in a regular series. But yeah, she's been chosen to do that. Now, this Sweet Tooth, the video game, or not, it's Twisted Metal. I'm sorry, the video game movie or TV show that's being created by Anthony Mackie and his crew. We've been announcing casting, stuff like that. We have more casting. Samoa Joe, who is a WWE wrestler, is going to be playing the Sweet Tooth character, who is one of the main characters in Twisted Metal, but he's just playing the body. The voice will be done by Will Arnett. So that's going to be a sort of a Darth Vader sort of aspect of things. Percy Jackson, the TV series for Disney Plus, has started filming. So that's a big relief for everybody who's been wanting a Percy Jackson reboot. It is now currently started filming this week, and Rick Riordan announced some more casting. He's going to announce more later this week, I believe. But so far, we got some of the adult roles. Virginia Keel will be playing Percy's mom, Sally. Jason Mantzoukas, who is best known as Pimento from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, will be playing Dionysus, which is a perfect role for him. Megan Mullany from Will and Grace will be playing Electo, Electo, who is, I guess, one of the bad guys as well. Glenn Turman, character actor, will be playing Chiron. And Tim Sharp is going to be playing Gabe Ugliano, which is Sally's abusive boyfriend who she had to marry to protect Percy, and has something bad happen to him at the end of the film. So that's good on that. So some good casting. We're going to get more adult casting. There's still a lot more adult roles, including Medusa and a few other ones in there that we still need to find out, especially Zeus and some of the other gods. So we'll probably be getting those. Rick Riordan said I'll be releasing more blogs about it and giving you updates on how signs are going and stuff like that. So that's good on that. Daniela Melchior, who played Ratcatcher 2 in Suicide Squad for James Gunn, has been tapped to also appear in James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Yes, we know that it is finished filming, so obviously she's already done her role, but it's just been announced that she's going to be in it. Now, the first thing that came to everybody's mind is that she'll be playing Moondragon, which would be outstanding, but James Gunn is like, nah, she's not gonna. Of course, we don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but there we go. Gotham Knights trailer, the new CW TV show, which features Batman's family working together, got their first trailer, and honestly, it underwhelmed me. No one's wearing costumes. It just looks like a bunch of teens who have to be connected to Batman in some form or another and don't even know who's who, except the only one that's announced is Joker's daughter. We don't know who the other characters are. Made appearance. And then we also get our first appearance of Harvey Dent, which is the guy who played Castile, Sasha Cooper, Sasha Cohen, something, not Sasha Cohen, Sasha Cooper, Sasha Collins, something like that from Supernatural, is going to be playing Two-Face. And we got, or actually Harvey Dent, and we got a little bit more of him and a little bit more idea of what the story is going to be like. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know if this is a TV show or a documentary or whatever, but Book Club 2 with Jane Fonda, Diane Keaton, Candice Bergen, and Mary Steenburgen has started production for their second season. I'm not sure if it's a TV show or if it's these great women actresses hanging out and actually, filming their book club. I don't know, but there you go. The Menu trailer with Ralph Fiennes, looking very Voldemort in one sequence of it. It's a movie that's coming out here soon. Got a trailer this week. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the new Pokemon game with the new gen of characters, got their first trailer with the announcement that the game will be coming out as expected before Christmas, November 18th. So actually before Thanksgiving also, but just in time for the Christmas holiday. New Pokemon, new takes on older Pokemon, some new legendaries, and a pig named LeChonk, which looks really funny and is going to be probably a fan favorite. Still no new evolutions that we know of yet. Maybe they weren't going to show anything, but it's now been about 3 or 4 gens and seasons and games where we haven't gotten an EV evolution, and that's way too long. We need to get a few more EV evolutions because it's supposed to be able to evolve into all the 12, 13 different styles of Pokemon. So we'll see what happens. The Man from Toronto trailer, I told you about that. The Woody Harrelson, not Chris Tucker, and the other guy, I can't even, that came out this week. Again, it didn't really care less about it, but the trailer came out. So if you want to see that one, it's out there. See, it's going to drive me crazy. See, I'm supposed to be informative, and I can't remember this guy's name. He was in the Jumanji stuff and does stuff with The Rock. And it's not Chris Tucker. I want to call him Chris Tucker, but it's not. Man from Toronto. There it is. Kevin Hart. I always get him. Kevin Hart, Woody Harrelson, Kaylee Cuoco, Ellen Barkin are all in this movie. It's going to be released on June 24th. It's an action comedy about mistaken identity. I think Kevin Hart is going to be mistaken for a world-class assassin who's played by Woody Harrelson, and so on and so forth. So we got that. Our Flag Means Death, the pirate TV show on HBO Max, has been renewed for a second season. That Taiki Waititi is involved with that. The teaser trailer for Wednesday, the show that Tim Burton's doing, his kind of beginning of his updating of the Addams Family, got a very slight teaser with Thing walking freely, not being in the box, and he's got like the cuts and the scars and the stitching and stuff like that, saying you have to watch out for Wednesday coming soon. It's just a real quick thing. We'll get a better teaser trailer, I believe, on June 6th. It was announcing our first look into that on Wednesday. So we'll probably be talking about this in next week's show, which actually I'll be home alone because as of now, the family's going on a camping trip next weekend. Obviously, I've said that before, and things have happened where, like last month, they didn't have enough people to go. This one's trip to King's Dominion. I think they have enough people to go now, so they are going to go. The weather seems to be cooperating for them next weekend. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend for them to go to King's Dominion and camp, as well as go to King's Dominion as well. Yeah, Saturday, 60% chance of rain, 82. Sunday, partly sunny, 75. So it's going to be a nice weekend for them. And 82 degrees that Friday, partly sunny. So we'll see how that looks. June 6th, we'll as I said, we'll probably have more information about that next week's show. But the first teaser trailer is out for it, and it shows that Thing is going to be a very Tim Burton-esque sort of thing with those stitches showing and stuff like that. Owen Wilson has landed a new Paramount Plus series as well. He'll be playing. It's going to be called Secret Headquarters, and it's a family superhero film. So basically, think The Incredibles, but as a live action sort of thing. And Owen Wilson as the dad of that one. So it could be interesting about that. As I said, told you. Oh, I'm sorry, not yet. Pinocchio trailer with Tom Hanks as Geppetto made its debut this week as well. It's directed by Robert Zemeckis. It's a live action version of it, obviously, with Tom Hanks involved with it. So it was a quick teaser. We got a good view of the Blue Fairy, one of Jiminy Cricket, and a bunch of Geppetto, Tom Hanks Geppetto, but not really one much of Pinocchio. But we also did get a date. It will be out on Disney Plus September 8th. So it will not be released in theaters. It's going to go direct to Disney Plus. Doctor Strange 2, we talked about this as rumored, but now it's been officially announced. Doctor Strange 2 will be coming to Disney Plus on June 22nd. So that's very good. So I'll be able to watch that during the time when the kids and family are away on camping vacation. I can watch it again if I want to. Sony's Madam Web movie has cast Isabella Merced in another unknown role, but good on that. Uma Thurman is going to be playing the U.S. president in Amazon's rom-com adaptation Red, White, and Royal Blue. I don't think she has a major role in it because it seems to be focusing more on her son, who has a ongoing rivalry with Prince Henry or whatever the prince is over there in England. And it's going to boil down to that. Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. Paramount Plus is doing a new Beavis and Butthead movie, available only on Paramount Plus, coming out June 23rd. I do not have Paramount Plus, so I will not be seeing it. But the movie is called Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, and the first trailer for that came out. It looks exactly what you expected. Beavis and Butthead are somehow able to get onto the space shuttle and have adventures in outer space. There's even a Beavis and Butthead Watcher lookalikes and some alien stuff and Cornholio and jail and their future selves and time travel and all kinds of fun stuff. So that's going on with that. Sean Levy is a producer of Stranger Things. And Sean Levy has also directed Free Guy and that one Netflix movie also with Ryan Reynolds. I forget about it, the time travel one. I forget the name of it. And has also been selected to be the director for Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool 3. So Ryan Reynolds obviously loves working with Sean Levy. So Sean Levy has dropped a hint that he might be able to get Ryan Reynolds to come on for season 5 of Stranger Things, which will be the final season of Stranger Things. So that'll be interesting if he can do that. The world has been fascinated with the Johnny Depp defamation case. The verdict came through today. Johnny Depp has won his defamation case, and Amber Heard owes him $10.35 million. So I don't really have anything else to say about that. So we'll go on from there. Joe Quesada, who was Marvel's editor-in-chief for the longest time and then had stayed on to be an executive there, has finally decided it is time to leave Marvel. So he has left Marvel. He is no longer affiliated with Marvel. So it's been a long run for Joe, but he's moved on to do whatever he wants to do. 20 years ago, which makes that 2002, The Wire debuted. The Wire is considered to be the greatest show ever made on television. It was filmed right here in Baltimore, and it's got a lot of good buzz. It is 20 years old this week. Sailor Moon Vans shoes are a new thing out there. So if you're a fan of Sailor Moon, you can now sport your Sailor Moon choice on your Vans. 17th century warship pulled from the icy Baltic Sea is almost perfectly preserved. So good for them. It's good for history as well to do a good study of those. Cinnamon French toast frosted flakes are a new thing, as is the Obi-Wan Kenobi frosted flakes. Now, the Obi-Wan Kenobi frosted flakes have a darker flavor, darker colored flake, and a lighter colored flake for the dark side, light side of the Force. The Cinnamon French toast frosted flakes are exactly what you think it is: frosted flakes that, instead of it being frosted, like tastes like vanilla or whatever, is going to be tasting like cinnamon French toast. Grape Pop-Tarts, which were announced to be coming back this year, are now officially out in a lot of shops now. They're not at mine yet, but they will probably be there eventually, so I keep looking for them, and you can probably start buying them now if you want. Dinosaur Hostess cupcakes, in time for Jurassic World sequel, are coming out now. So if you like the Hostess cupcakes, you can now get dinosaur colored ones. I think they're green and some other stuff on it as well. I think I talked about this last week, but I'm just going to bring it up again. Arby's has released their new hamburger. It got a review from a person I usually trust with their reviews, and they absolutely loved it. It is not quite like your typical hamburger. It's a different type of beef, and it's got different types of toppings. And so they say it's really, really good. And they don't grill, so it's done a different way. And it says that it actually works out better that way. So good on that. I talked about the University of Maryland men's baseball team destroying their opponent 23-2. Well, the University of Maryland men's lacrosse team are the national champions of the lacrosse, capping their perfect season. They were 18-0. So they are the champions of the world. So good on that. A 4-seater DeLorean has been revealed. The DeLorean, from Back to the Future was only 2 seats. So now they have a 4-seat one because DeLorean is starting to come back. And I think it's going to be electric also. So it's kind of funny too. Let's go on that. I talked about a extinct animal coming back. How about a new species? A new Himalayan snake species has been identified. So a new snake species has entered the room. So here we are. Good on that. Adult pickles. Instead of having pickles being in brine, people put their pickles in jars of alcohol, much like you do with the injecting of watermelon with vodka and stuff like that. And you get the watermelon infused vodka, vodka infused watermelon, I should say. Now you can get vodka infused pickles or whatever you want. So if you're a pickle fan and you want to get drunk quickly, there you go. Speaking of pickles, Mountain Dew is insane. And there is a new thing. I think it's like a pop-up sort of place in the mountains. It's called the Mountain Dew Outpost. So I don't think it's anywhere near here. It's got to be out west, like in Colorado, Sierra Nevadas, out in California, stuff like that. But it is a place that's like a pop-up that is like a Mountain Dew like bar almost, that has all kinds of flavors of Mountain Dew, and is a good stop. It's Mountain Dew, so it's going to be at the foot of a mountain, stuff like that. But one of the reasons to go visit it is because they are revealing 6 new flavors of Mountain Dew, which you can only get at that outpost. And you get pickle flavored Mountain Dew, which no, it just sounds just about as appetizing as the Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew, which I got. Apple cinnamon flavor actually doesn't sound too bad. I think they did an apple flavor this past fall, which I really enjoyed. You add a little infusion of cinnamon to it. Could be pretty good for a fall sort of thing. But again, these are only available at this Mountain Dew Outpost, and I doubt they're going to release it wide anyway. You also then get into some fairly normal flavor. Well, no, actually not yet. S'mores flavored Mountain Dew. Yeah, s'mores flavored Mountain Dew. No. Now you get into some of the kind of the regular ones. The huckleberry flavored and elderberry flavored. Now, I don't know what those taste like, but that could be something different. And then there's one called a summer pop flavor. I don't know what that means. It didn't go into any real identification of what the flavor tasted like, but that's the 6th one. So you can only get those at the Mountain Dew Outpost. Again, the apple cinnamon one sounds okay. I don't know what huckleberries and elderberries taste like, but usually fruit-flavored sodas aren't that bad, so that might be interesting. But pickle, no. S'mores flavored, no. So, whatever. Speaking of weird things, instead of it being a soda flavor, Pepsi has been infused into pepperonis for a specific restaurant. So they take the pepperoni and they inject it with Pepsi, so that when you bite into the pepperoni, you get a Pepsi pepperoni flavor. Again, I don't get it. I don't understand it, and I don't think I ever will. Alicia Debnam Carey is exiting Fear the Walking Dead after 7 seasons. She was one of the only original cast members still a part of that show, which I haven't watched in years. But she has finally said, enough is enough, and I'm done, and I'm out. Alex Proyas, who directed Dark City and The Crow and 2 of my favorite movies, and has sort of disappeared and has tried to do a couple different things, but hasn't been very successful at it, is going back to what his bread and butter was, making a movie called Sister Darkness. That's going to be a similar sort of Crow, Dark City sort of flavor. So that'll probably be out sometime next year. Sabine, one of the characters from the Clone Wars, has been cast in Ahsoka. And the woman who has been cast as Sabine has known for about a year that she has been cast and will be playing Sabine, but could not announce it until this past week's Star Wars Celebration. So good on that. Sasquatch Surprise Potato Chips. I don't know what the Sasquatch Surprise would be, but that's the name of potato chip now. Sasquatch Surprise. So I don't know. It's probably just sort of a regional sort of thing. So probably be able to find it here, but it won't be able to find it here. But if you're watching the show, you might not live here. You might live somewhere else. So you got that going on there. Top Gun Maverick sets a Memorial Day record with a $156 million opening. So take that, all you assholes who said, oh, only comic book movies are destroying movie theaters. They're the only ones that are making money. No, Top Gun is a sequel with Tom Cruise, one of the biggest stars in the world, and is not a comic book movie. And it made $156 million in its opening, breaking the record Memorial Day one that the last Pirates of the Caribbean movie made. It was like $135 million for their opening on Memorial Day weekend. So Top Gun Maverick set the Memorial Day record with $156 million domestically. I think overall, I think it's in the $350 million range worldwide, I think, which is really good anyway. And this is a surprising side note to this. This is the first ever $100 million opening for Tom Cruise. Now, Tom Cruise is considered to be one of the biggest movie stars in the world, but he has never been in a movie that has made $100 million in one weekend until this weekend, or this past weekend, I should say. More than likely, it's going to take the top spot again this weekend. Morby sure as hell isn't. So it's going to add a little bit more to it. And we'll see how bad the drop is and see if it's as bad as the Marvel ones has been, if they're going to make a big stink about it like they did with the Marvel ones. Ooh, it dropped 63%. Well, no shit. Everybody went to see it the first weekend, and then that's it. Everyone wants to go see it the first weekend. Of course, it's going to drop precipitously. So we'll see what happens. One of the movies we did watch over Memorial Day weekend was quite a surprise for us. The Chippendale Rescue Rangers reboot movie that's on Disney Plus right now. If you are someone in my age range in your 40s, run, don't walk to Disney Plus. You can watch with your kids if you want because they might enjoy it, but it is a nostalgia craziness with Andy Samberg and John Mulaney as the voice of Chippendale, and just all these 90s callbacks and cameos, and a pretty interesting story, and just a fun combination of live action and animated, similar to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, who has a cameo in this movie, as does the Ugly Sonic and any other big surprise ones. There's a few other ones. There's a funny Beavis, or is it Butthead? With funny Beavis and Butthead joke in one of them. There's a funny Voltron joke in there as well. There's a very nostalgia laden series, but the live action animation crossover, plus you have 2D animated Chip, I think, and computer generated Dale is really kind of weird to see also. But it's a great movie. It's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it if you just want to kill some time, like an hour and 40 minutes. And you're in my age range, in your 40s, I think you're going to really, really enjoy this movie. I think so. And as I said, I think kids will enjoy it too, but I don't know. 4,400-year-old tomb of Egyptian high priest has been discovered, and it has not even been disturbed. So until now. So everything is pristine the way it is. So it should be interesting to see what discoveries come from that. A 1,000-year-old gold earring was found in Denmark. So they believe that was a wedding present to one of the kings of Denmark, or queens, I should say. So that's pretty interesting as well. A mastodon fossil has been discovered in LaRue County, which I guess is somewhere out west. So mastodons, we know they're out there, and now we have more proof. Divers discover a 3,000-year-old castle underwater in a Turkish lake. A castle underwater. That's insane, but very cool. And it'd be fun to explore that and see what that looks like and how that got there. Speaking of Turkey, we have a healthcare crisis here in the United States. Everybody knows that. And there's just no way around it. So a woman who needed a $3,000 root canal decided she couldn't afford to pay $3,000. She did a research and she discovered that the country of Turkey will do a root canal for a lot less than $3,000. So she ended up only spending close to $870 of her money to get a root canal in Turkey, which includes the flight to Turkey, the actual appointment, and the hotel and the car rental, stuff like that. $870. So, our healthcare service is messed up. A plant battery-powered computer lasted for a year due to photosynthesis. So a computer was run for a year just through photosynthesis. That is mind-blowing to me. I could not even consider something like that happening, and yet here we are. Science is cool. Animal time. A beagle befriended an injured sloth, and the two of them have become inseparable buddies. Beagles are great dogs, and sloths are so cute, and the two of them are a great group together. A cat saves a Army veteran's life. Now, the storyline goes, this Army veteran is not single. He lives alone, and he's in his 80s, and he wanted he got a cat as a companion, because he was lonely and he wanted to have a cat. And friends had a cat that had a bunch of kittens, so he took one of the kittens and named it Fluffy and taught it the word ring ring, which he showed her was phone, and this is phone. It means ring ring. So this 80-year-old gentleman who was taking a shower one night slips and falls in the bathroom. And as the joke story goes, I fall and I can't get up. His medical alert bracelet was in his bedroom, not in his bathroom. And his cell phone was on the counter, in the bathroom, the sink counter in the bathroom. But he couldn't reach it because he had pinned one arm under himself. He was old and fragile and he couldn't move, and he tried to get up and he didn't have the power. And that's understandable. When you're old, you don't have that upper body strength or the arm strength or whatever. So knowing that his cat never leaves his side and the cat likes to stay in the bathroom when he's in the bathroom, and that's not odd either. Cats do that. He went, Fluffy, ring, 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 ring. And 5 minutes later, the old man feels the cell phone in his hand. The cat had heard ring, ring, knew that it meant cell phone, jumped up onto the sink counter, was able to knock it down to the ground, and then push it over to his owner. And his owner was able to dial 911, and they came and got him, and he's fine. But the fact that a cat was able to do that is outstanding. Now, for the final story of the night, sorry, the one viewer who just popped in there. I've been doing this for an hour and 21 minutes. So I recommend going back and rewinding it and seeing stuff because it was a pretty good episode. It's never too early to talk about Christmas music. Yep, didn't lose them. And we all know when you hear the term Christmas music, the majority of people automatically think of Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, which honestly is a song that makes me want to go and tear my head out and grab my brain and pull it out and throw it against the wall and says, I never want to hear this goddamn song ever again. It's played all the time and it's so annoying. I hate it. That's why it's at the very end of my second Christmas playlist. It's a Christmas song that needs to be on there, but I have 100+ songs on each of my playlists, so it's like at the very end, so I'm never going to reach it. But in any case, if I ever do, okay, I can always say, F it, boom, but I'm not going to take it out because it is a classic Christmas song, and I like to have even number 100 on each one. Anyway, we all know that song. But apparently, and I just found this right before I went on air today, someone is suing Mariah Carey for $20 million because of a misunderstanding or disagreement over the credit to the song itself. It's something to do with the Vic and the Valiants or something like that, and someone who was a member of the group but wasn't a member of the group anymore, but he was the one that wrote the original song, but then once he left the group, did not get any money, guaranteed the group somehow got the money up, but didn't give him. I don't know the exact reasoning for it, how it happened, but he has decided that he wants to sue Mariah Carey for $20 million over All I Want for Christmas Is You. There we go. We lost my guy. Yeah, you don't want to hear any more about that. I know. I thought it was an interesting story. Yeah. So Merry Christmas. Way early, right? It's June 5th. So it's 6 months and 20 days. So, a little ways of Christmas to go. But, yeah. So we'll see how that goes. We'll keep up our eyes on that. And that is the end of that. So next week's episode, 449, hopefully we'll get a actual first look at Wednesday and see how that is. And anything else exciting going on this upcoming week. I think Friday is the arrival of the final Jurassic World movie, so we'll probably get a ton of stuff about that. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see if any other trailers or other stuff comes out. I can't foresee anything else other than Wednesday really right now is the only one I can think of. There's no more Star Wars Celebration, so there's probably not going to be any more Star Wars news here and coming up in the coming days. We'll have Obi-Wan Episode 4 review because I will watch that even though my family. Well, no, we'll see it. It debuts on Wednesday, so we'll be able to see it. If you're a fan of Fortnite, Now in about 4.5 hours, the new season starts. Looking forward to that. And then on top of that, Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, the Fortnite Marvel issue 1 miniseries comic comes out to comic shops. Go to your local comic shop. I haven't been to comic shop about a couple months now, so they're going to be like, what the hell are you doing here? I'm just going to buy those and then leave. I'll buy one for me, my son, and my son's friend, Hunter, who I talked about earlier in the show. These comics have, free stuff you can get, but you'll be able, if you don't buy the comics, you'll still be able to buy it in the item shop that night, but it's better to get it for free. Instead of having to buy it. You're not really getting it for free, you're buying the comics. So in the end, it's not really, it's potato, whatever. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And we'll definitely talk about the new season of Fortnite and let you know how that's about. And it's the last week of school for my kids, really. They have like a half a week, the week after that. They will be gone next weekend. So I'll have to decide what I'm going to do. If I want to see the Jurassic World sequel this weekend coming up, or wait until they're gone for camp, because I'm taking Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of that week off. I'm going to basically just do movies, those 3 days, because they come back that Saturday, and then Sunday's a rest day, and that's July 4th, which is going to be a great family reunion. But about 1 month from now will be July 4th, actually 29 days now. But so that's it for tonight's episode. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening. And if you get a chance, wish my dad a happy 75th birthday. We're going to see him in basically about 11 and a half hours for a nice lunch. So a lot can happen in 11 and a half hours. I'll have my first view of Fortnite. I'll be eating donuts and having coffee, taking a shower, shaving, getting dressed, and then going and buying gifts and stuff like that. So I haven't gotten anything yet, so I'm a bad son, aren't I? Oh, well. All right, guys. It is now 1:31 a.m. Fortnite fans, 4.5 hours to go. You can do it. Hopefully, new season is going to be as good as expected. Enjoy yourself. It's going to be a nice weekend. Still beautiful. Pokemon Go Fest is still going on for one more day, so it's not going to be till about 10 a.m., so we'll see what happens with that. All right, y'all. It's time for me to skedaddle out of here. Thanks for watching, and we will check you out next week when I'm by myself.